Hi everybody, this is Liz Hall with Smart Office Help Social Media Management. And today I'm going to show you how to change your background on Twitter so that you can do a little free advertising for yourself. And it's actually very easy and it's free. So pardon me for kind of looking away for a moment. I got some notes going here because I just want to make sure we stay on topic and that I don't miss anything. Now, there's a few reasons why you will want to do this. And of course, like I said, this is like advertising real estate that's heavily underused on Twitter. And also, once again, it's free. Why wouldn't you want to market yourself free? It's great for branding. If you don't use it, it's a missed opportunity for branding. It's going to help your feed to stand out beyond the other feeds out there. And you always want to stand out as a brand. It'll give you a place where you can add some additional contact information because in the normal profile for Twitter, there's not a lot of space or room to kind of describe what you do. So you want to use that space in a different way. Also, this is a place where you can expand your bio and give people, like I said, some additional information. You can promote products and events. You can change it whenever you want to, and you have full control over it. It's still not like having your website, but it's in addition to your website here, and it's hosted on the Twitter channel. So first, I'm just going to give you some information about this. And there's some dimensions, and I'll put those in the notes as well, that you really need to be aware of. Now, for the full background that covers this whole back part, the dimensions for that are going to be at a minimum 1600 pixels wide and 1200 pixels tall. And if you want this to also be optimized and fit on larger screens, you can use a maximum of 2560 pixels to 1600. So that's 2560 to 1600 and mine's is actually fitted for a larger screen. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how to do this. I used Photoshop Elements, which I've been using for years. Excuse me. And let me just bring that up so you can see. This is the actual background that I set up for what you saw on my background for Twitter. And this whole gray part right here is actually the maximum width of 2560 pixels times the 1600 pixels tall. And when it comes to dimensions and putting things out on the web, just be wary of stretching images, because when you put it out there and when people see it on the different devices, it just looks really distorted. So if you can make the images without stretching them, then that's what I would highly suggest. All right. Now, also, this little piece right here is what you saw on the side. And let me just bring that back up for you real quick. And that's this piece over here. You can see in Elements, it looked pretty small, but on the screen, it actually looks pretty big. It looks pretty good. Let's go back over to Elements. All right. Now, this little piece, the dimensions on that is going to be 235 pixels wide times 700 pixels tall. So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to make our background. So what I did for this, and I'll just make another one so that you can see, I changed the background here to whatever color that I'm going to make my background. So let's just do like a green color just for a test. And I'm going to say okay. And then we're going to go up to File and New, go to Blank File. And then here I'm just going to name it Test Green because I'm not going to save this. And as you can see in the presets here, I have the width at the maximum pixels, which the width is 2560 and the height is 1600. And I just left the color mode at RGB color and the background contents at background color. And so we're going to say, okay. And then we get the exact size that we need so there's no stretching. And remember that you can put images here as well, but I just used like a flat background because I just wanted it to be a clean easel to start from, and then you can experiment and be creative at that point. So now what we need is the smaller piece or pieces to add to that. So I kind of used that same, let's go back here so you can see. All right, I used, I made this small part right here the same way that I did the background, and this is what it looks like here. So this is what it looks like. I made it the exact size that it needed to be, which was 235 pixels wide times 700 pixels tall. And like I said, it looks small on the screen once you put it all together, but it comes out perfectly. So I added my images in here, I put my website, and I put like a few extras in here. And then we'll go to the full thing, and then I've added those together. So let's just add it to the green one so you can see. All I did was I took that image that I created and I brought it in on that main background and I put it where it needed to be. And that is it. Now this image is ready to go. So then I saved it for the web, and like I said, it looks like this when I got finished. So I just saved that as an image, and it has everything perfectly the way it needs to be. So now let's go to Twitter, and I'm going to show you how to install your perfect image. And remember, you can change this anytime that you want to. So like I said, it's you have full control over it, so it's a great opportunity for you to use it for marketing and be creative. So first, we're going to go to the settings. And here in the settings, we're going to go over to design, which is under account. And then you'll see here in the design, there are some pre-made themes that you can use. And often most people just go with the pre-mades, and that's fine. But if you want to do some additional branding, which I highly recommend, I would say make your own, or you can have somebody else make it for you if you don't have Photoshop elements. As long as you make that image exactly the way it needs to be and it doesn't need to be stretched, that's what I recommend, because stretching is never good when it comes to dimensions. And then here you're going to go where it says change background. You say choose image. And then what it's going to do is, it takes a moment, for my computer is a little slow today. It's going to take a moment and it's going to go to my computer. And here it is. And then I pick the image that I want. So I already had the image saved and I have it saved as a PNG. So let's see. We'll go here. I named it Twitter background PNG, and then you can see the size is right there. That's the maximum size that I can use. So I just selected that, and I'm not going to do it this time, but I'm going to select it, and then that's it. You don't have to worry about anything that you chose before. You just pick this, and then you just say save changes. And then once it saves the changes, you'll immediately see the background. Now, as you can see, the background doesn't move. Now, be careful when you're selecting, if you're selecting the overall image for your feed, because what can happen with that is the image that you actually want to show may be hidden behind the feed, so you don't want that. So let me just show you some examples of some creativity when it comes to the backgrounds. And I just chose a few from my followers and people that I tweet with. I just picked them at random. So there was no rhyme or reason behind the people that I chose. All right, let's look at this one. And this is Mr. C. Baker. And Mr. Baker, I tried to, see if it had the feel of branding when I looked at it. And if you look at this, you would think it has something to do with space, astrology or something. But if you look at Mr. C. Baker, it just says, I am a happy family man who always enjoys helping people to get a healthier mind and body. And so I think this was just more of a personal preference for him, but I like the fact that he did change it from the default Twitter background, so that's nice. So if you look over here on the left, you'll see that he actually got this image from NASA, and I like that I picked this because it's important to also mention, when you're using images, to watch out for those copyrighted images. You don't want to use other images. Now, he did give credit to NASA that this was one of their images, so you just want to be careful with that, because people have been sued for less, and it's totally ridiculous, and that's a whole nother talk show. But just watch out for those images. And if we scroll up, you can see the image doesn't move and there's nothing behind it, so he's totally optimizing this image here. It's a nice image. Let's go to the next one. Now this one I really liked, and I'm glad I just picked it at random. And this is Mr. Bruce Salen, and he says he's a dad, writer, radio host, and founder of Dad Chat. And he had some books also. And let's just look at his background before we look at his little side banners. And I kind of like that. You can see they don't move, but it has a real fun feel to it. It has a really branded feel with the colors and the images that he used. And then if you look over here to the left, you'll see he has his website, and he has like the time of his dad chat, and he has some additional information here. Some of it is a little repetitive, but not really, because it just depends on where the person looks when they go into your profile. So he has dad, writer, speaker, and radio host, and then he has a picture of himself. So that's a lot of fun. I love caricatures. Now, it's also important to mention that none of the links are hyperlinks, because remember, these are images and they're static images. There's no way to make anything on the background active. So this is like a static billboard. When you're riding down the street and you see a billboard, you can't really do anything with it, but you can read it. And that's what this is. And then he also, unlike me, I only have a banner on the left, working on the right one, because your social media should always be a work in progress when it comes to your branding. But let's look over here on this side for him. And you'll see he has his books here, and he has ways to connect with him, and he has some information about his radio show. Now, he couldn't have got all that into this little profile that you see, so he really made great use of his space. Let's look at that background again. That's awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. And then this one here, like I said, I just chose these randomly, and this guy Hickam, he does have his information up here, but he's using the default Twitter background, which is fine for him, and it doesn't look like he has a business. I'm not sure. I didn't really go to his website to check it out, but he has some limited information up here, but I just think he could have used that outside information, that background, to give us a little bit more about himself. And then this is the last one I'm going to show you, and this one is actually my personal Twitter account for my blog, which is Liz for a Day. And you can see I got some branding going on there because I have a little character. Let's go up, and like I said, the background image is not going to move, so you can see this is an image that I actually tagged. And so if you look over to the left here, you'll see that Liz is actually cut off, but you can see her on this side. So I didn't mind so much that it was cut off here, because I may take the opportunity to put some banner information up here, which I haven't done yet. But like I said, I like that. I love my image, by the way. That's pretty cool. That's me. And so you can always head over to Liz for a Day if you want to check out my personal page. And that is basically it. So I really would like to encourage you to use that space on your Twitter account for good, of course. So with that, I'm going to close, and just be on the lookout for more videos. If you guys have any questions that are social media related, please leave them in the comments. I will be happy to answer any questions that you have and put them on the show. I actually also host the Social Media Notes podcast, and it could be on the podcast as well. So once again, go out and grow your business using social media. Have a great day.